Charlie Kirk's assassination has been a wake-up call for so many Americans now joining the battle cries from those who saw something wicked this way coming for a long time. The war, they say, is not against flesh and blood, but evil, against principalities and powers of darkness. And that's why in 2004, one brave mom and fighter for liberty founded Moms for America. After the assassination, Kimberly Fletcher wrote in an article how the very ideals of freedom and biblical truth were eroding with the objective of the enemy to remove God and enslave people. In fact, history proves it, she wrote. We have seen it as recent as the 20th century with three of the most heinous despots of our time, Hitler, Stalin, and Mao. They tortured adults, but they defeated nations, stealing the hearts and minds of children. They created chaos to breed fear, closed churches to remove God, converted schools and universities into indoctrination camps, seized control of media to promote propaganda, murdered people for speaking against their agenda. As Joseph Stalin stated, ideas are more powerful than guns. We would not let our enemies have guns. Why should we let them have ideas? Kimberly Fletcher joining us this morning. Kimberly, powerful article that you wrote there. I know it was an honor for you to serve in the trenches with Charlie. You faced similar criticism because you both stood for truth, you say, and for biblical principles. How has his assassination re-energized your resolve?
Well, it has definitely validated what we have been saying. A lot of people have ignored our voices of warning, our cries to parents to help them understand what their children are being faced with. And for me, it has emboldened me to continue to go out and reach those moms who have not yet realized just how detrimental this whole movement against our families and our freedom are. And I guess I would say I'm with Erica. You have no idea what you have woken up and what you have unleashed, the Mothers of America.
In your article, you mentioned if the devil had a religion, it would be communism. How are our schools and universities promoting that when you look at the histories of Stalin, Hitler, and Mao?
Well, in a lot of the school books that we have been reading, it obviously promotes division. It is promoting racism. It is attacking everything that American values stand for, the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence. They throw out words like patriarchy and capitalism is bad. And it's all of those same things that Hitler, Stalin, and Mao did. But they've even gone so far when you look in some of the curriculum where they're encouraging students to call each other comrade and to call their teachers comrade. So it's so blatantly obvious, but they hide it in the schools and they put the word curriculum on it, and so that they think it's okay to push sexualization, racism, and all these things down our children's throats. This is one of the things that Charlie's death has opened up in a much broader way. More people are talking about what's happening in our schools with the curriculum.
And something I thought was very powerful in your article was you talked about going to Europe and going to Auschwitz and how emotional it was seeing that. And the question was asked by, I think it was Glenn Beck in the article at one of these Turning Point conventions, where he said, if we were to witness that today, if we saw Hitler today, what would we do? And he said, you know what you would do? Exactly what you're doing right now. Exactly what you're doing right now. So how do we effectively communicate that? How do we get more Charlie Kirks, more people like you, moms who are trying to organize and speak truth to some of what you're witnessing right now in schools?
I think that Charlie's death, the way that he was murdered so publicly, it has opened up all kinds of doors for conversations that we didn't have before. The rising generation, Gen Z, as we call them, they're asking a lot of questions. And a lot of people older generations have been kind of rolling their eyes going, how could they not know this? They don't know because our schools aren't teaching the Constitution. They aren't teaching what it means to be an American or why it's worth fighting for, why we're unique in all the world. And there are thousands and thousands of people, not just in America, but across the globe, mothers and young kids who are going, holy cow, we want to be a part of this movement. We thought we were alone, and now we know we aren't. So I think that's how we're going to reach Gen Z, but don't dismiss them. Don't roll your eyes and think, how could they not know this? Answer their questions because they're sincere.
And by the way, Gen Z is a very powerful generation. What happened to Charlie and what his whole goal was to reach those future generations? Let's not forget that either.
You know, the millennial generation, they were thrown into this whole um, virtual world, and then they had to figure out how to navigate through it. Gen Z was born into it,
Yep.
and I think that is the reason why they have so many questions. I think the millennial generation was perfectly fine living in their mom and dad's basement. Gen Z wants out of it and can't afford it. And Charlie Kirk, when all these people that had no idea who he was, especially the young kids, they're listening to him now because his voice is everywhere.
Yeah.
And they're watching the things that he said at these different events where he was speaking, and they're like, he makes a lot of sense. And I really like what he's saying. That if there's anything good that come out of this horrible tragedy, that would be it. His voice has been magnified
I think
monumentally.
Yeah, and I think you hit on something very important too, because this is the first generation as well where there is no face-to-face communication, which is exactly what Charlie was trying to promote. That you couldn't hide behind a screen, you couldn't hide behind your phone. This whole virtual world that's out there, even with the gamers. You know, we talked about Discord and the gaming app. That all of a sudden now you are behind this app and you're communicating not face-to-face, which is where violence often rises when you stop talking, when the dialogue stops. And that's a huge problem, obviously, for that generation. Are you hopeful we're at a turning point in our country where you're gonna see more people rise up, more Gen Zers rise up, perhaps?
I am so hopeful. When you look and you see all of these people coming together, I am Charlie, the visuals. It is about a message and a movement that we all care about. Standing on those principles and values that made America the freest, most prosperous nation on earth, that protected families. And what made Charlie's movement so unique, what makes Moms for America so unique, is that we are going to people. He went out to the college campuses. He talked to the kids directly. We're going into the communities, talking to moms directly. That's what they're hungering for. You can have your fake friends in the virtual world, but if you want to really make a difference, get to know your neighbor and start talking to them.
Founder and president of Moms for America, Kim Fletcher, pleasure talking to you this morning. Thanks for joining us.